Welcome to the Thin Blue Line Outdoors Podcast.
This pig came bottling.
Just ended up puking last night. It sucked.
Whoa! Ah!
We gut it, we wrap it in tinfoil, throw it over the fire.
All right, everyone. This is podcast 97 with my brother, Colton Johnson. So Colton's been on a roll this deer season, hunting public land in Iowa. So he's got a lot to share. Not a lot to share on video, which we can talk about. but he's had all in all, I guess we can say you've had a good month of October. Busy man in the month of October. So you can say his now wife has had a bad start to October, but then she killed a deer, so good start then at the end. So that's what I'm gonna speak for her anyway, whether or not she'll agree with me or not.
To a degree.
Yeah. So anyway, again, I've already told you this, and obviously I was in the wedding, but congrats on being married. It's all downhill from here.
Yeah, nothing has changed.
Yeah. Yep. So anyway, Colton, you got 3 deer down already. Well, 2 deer for you, 1 counting with Paige. So did you buy a bigger freezer yet?
No, I didn't have anything in my deep freeze, so we are good to go.
How full?
I'm good enough. What do you say?
How full is it?
It's not that full. You know, I have like over 50 pounds of burger from the 3 does and then just the back straps. I mean, I turn everything into burger until I get to the points where, you know, I want to make sticks and stuff like that. But no, I have plenty of space. Yeah, I have so much space actually that I've already bought another tag, and Paige has bought another tag.
There we go.
So right now I'm sitting on 2 more. She's sitting on 1 more. I'm gonna get another gun tag, or we get a gun tag. So potential chance of 4 more deer to get.
So
but
are you holding out for a buck itself, or you shoot another doe?
Right now I'm only buck hunting with my bow. When we get to late November, so pretty much how it is here, there's these things called like Zone 25 tags. They're like wildlife management area tags, and I can buy, you know, they have like I think 1,500 extra tags that you can get that are antlerless only, and it covers like an area in Johnson County. And where I work at, most of the property that pretty much all the property that we manage is within that zone. So the lottery system that we did to get in certain restricted areas within our property that I got pulled for, and so did Paige, that's within that zone 25. So I was able to go get another tag, $15. You know, pretty much they're saying there's too many deer here, and I would probably agree with that. So yeah, no, I'll try to fill that like late season. There's, you know, no shortage of does there. We have cameras out. We're starting to see bucks really move the last few days. So yeah, buck hunt only, doe late season, and then when it comes to gun season, I'm just buck hunting until it gets to like that last day. Maybe I'll shoot a doe.
Gotcha. So I guess we'll talk about October 1st. Colton was 1 of 3 of our team members to get a deer down October 1st.
Yep.
If you want to break down that hunt a little bit, and I'm ready for your rant. You said you want to talk about public land etiquette. So I'm ready for it. Here's your chance to vent.
Well, I've calmed down a little bit, but so I've hunted here 2 years now. You know, strictly public. I have a private spot I've been hunting at. You know, a few times I have access to, but yeah, strictly private or public. So I'll talk about the hunt, and then I'll rant for a bit. So get out there, get all set up. So pretty much how that lottery zone works. There's like 8 of us that have this, you know, it's kind of, there's a campground, but then there's a lot of wooded area, and they want to just, we, you know, where I work for, want to regulate who comes in and out. So when we go and put stands up, everybody's, you know, has access to put 1 stand up or to mobile hunt, you know, whatever your choice is, but you can't put a stand up and then mobile hunt. So Paige has a stand, and then I mobile hunt. So, you know, I know where the best spot is. I put a stand right there, you know. The first day I was legally allowed to pretty much to take that tree, claim it for ourselves. We killed 3 deer out of it. But, you know, I get out there on the 1st, and, you know, I put the work in. I made sure at 8 a.m. first day I could do it. I set it up. So I get in the tree. I'm out there at kind of too early for an October 1st hunt. I'm out there at like 2:30, and get in the tree. I'm all set up, before 3, and then 5:30 rolls around, and I hear something coming through the woods, and I kind of like turn and look. I'm like, okay, here comes the first deer. I'm waiting, and here comes this guy just walking through the woods with all of it. I could tell with all of it. He's hang on, he's got a saddle on, all that good stuff. And as somebody who does mobile hunting, I get it. You're kind of going out there. Maybe you don't know where you're going. You've looked on, you've done your Onyx, scouting, all that bullshit. Thing is, though, if I'm doing that, I get out there at 3, 2:30. I get out there early to where
shooting time was ending about 7 back then.
7 o'clock. Yeah. So your last hour, it was like it was like 5:15. So like within the last 2 hours of hunting time, that's really the only time that the deer are moving in the last hour and a half. That's it. Really 30 minutes, but that's what you're waiting for. So I see this guy walking through the woods. He's like 40 yards away, and I like give him a little like cat type thing, try to get his attention. And he's like stopped. He's like looking around, and then he starts walking towards me. And he gets like 20 yards away, and I do it again. I kind of like go you to him, and he stops. And he's looking in the trees. He hears me, and he gets like 10 yards away, and I go, "Hey, bud," and then he turns and looks at me, and he apologizes. So I'm so sorry. I just kind of like put my watch up and like went like this to him because at this point it's 5:30. I'm like this jackass right now. Yeah. Which I'll get to the etiquette part in a second. So he does that, and he then he's walking right out of the area where all the deer come from on this ridge. So I don't know where he even parked at. I know where I'm parked at. I'm parked in the campground, walking 300 yards to get over here. So I don't know where he parked at. He's just walking through the woods on this ridge. So then he leaves and exits out a different direction, even a different angle. So he's walking on the other part of the ridge, on the other side. I'm like, okay, well, my hunt's over. So I'm pissed. I'm like, this is a great way to start it, October 1st. Which I had things happen last year, which I'll talk about in a second too. Yeah. So then, like the last 10 minutes, or it was like the last 15 minutes of shooting light. Well, here comes 2 does, pretty much like kind of where he walked out of, but like a little bit more to the north. And I watched him come down this fence line. And I was like, oh, I'm actually going to get shot. I did not expect that to happen. And she got to like, I don't know, 20 yards, and then she turned and quartered away hard, like almost directly away from me. It got to about 32, 33, and then she turned, got to like 35, 36, and then quartering away pretty hard. So I, shot a little farther back. But yeah, shot her. First time shooting the Matthews at a deer. First time with the rec, and hit her. I felt good about it. She runs injured and takes off, jumps to a little fence, and I don't see her ever again. And it's dark. I get out of the tree. It's pitch black. I can't see anything. Like 10 minutes later, and didn't find a lot of blood. Couldn't find my arrow. I was like, huh. I was a little nervous. You get a little anxious. I found some blood then, and then I get to across the fence, and I see some more blood, and I kind of just walked the direction she went. Found some blood throughout this autumn olive all the way through. And then there's like this little opening area and this little pond, and I just kind of like flash my light up, and then I see white, and she had died like probably like 80 yards away from me, I would say. I get up to her, and I end up where I shot at, just quartering away. I shot through her, hit both lungs, and it actually went through her front shoulder blade on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I was really impressed. So I went right through her shoulder blade. Tons of damage, and it was actually great. She actually ran towards my car. So
yeah, perfect. So, and that was when you said you used the rec, you using the HXP, right? The newer one.
I am, yes. So, and that's actually what I used for the second deer as well, the second doe, which was, I don't know, 6 days later, I think. But tons of damage again with that one. I have a concern, in which I don't think is with the broadhead. It has to do with my bow. I'm shooting the new Matthews Lift 33 with 80-pound draw with the micro diameter arrows, and I think I'm whizzing through them so fast that they're not. It's like I don't feel like I'm getting like a ton of damage. So like Paige's, she shot hers the other day with 35 poundage, and that thing was tore up with the 4-blade rec. So I just feel like I'm maybe whipping, I found both deer dead within 100 yards.
Yeah.
Lots of damage, which is that's what I want, but like
There's not a lot of blood.
not a lot of blood, and there's huge holes. There's like been big holes on both sides. That's why it's like I've tracked them for 60 yards, not a lot of blood, then boom, they bleed everywhere. But I think it's more my arrow than anything. My arrow and my bow.
Gotcha. Well, we'll back up a little bit. I know you talked about the other deer, but your etiquette after your first.
So last year I had the same thing happen. I had these guys walk in on me, and I'm back there a ways. Like I've went back there early in the season or like in the summer, and I'm several hundred yards back in an area. It's not an easy place to get to. If you're gonna do that, and you get off work at 4:00, and you cannot get out there till 5, do us all a favor and do not go, because if you pull up and you see other vehicles there, I guess that's the thing. If nobody else is there, do whatever the hell you want. If there's other vehicles there, which I know, like last year there was multiple vehicles. There's a vehicle at this one main entry place that I was at, so I don't know where this other guy parked at, which he was a hunter in the lottery system, and he actually killed a doe that night, which I don't know where he was set up, but he did kill a doe that night.
That's funny.
Yeah, and I actually know this guy. I didn't realize this till later. I know him because I met him at an archery range, and I called him out on it then a couple days later about his time.
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" He got off work at 4:30, and then he went out there and he tried to get into a tree that he didn't know where he was going. So what I can live with is if I am not very far away from like wherever the entry point is, and somebody walks by me, that's on me. That's on me. Second, if it's kind of early or whatever, and and somebody walks by me, but you can know that they have a tree picked out of where they're going, I can live with that too. Because they have scouted out an area and they know that I am getting in that hickory at this location. I've seen the tree. I've maybe even been up in the tree. I can live with that. But if just wandering through the woods or like going for a stroll isn't going to cut it. Like you can't do that. Poor etiquette. Which like last year I was muzzleloader hunting. I'm like 600 yards back in this one area, and this guy walked right by me with his bow at like 40 minutes left of shooting light. And I saw him at the parking lot later, and I like asked him, like, "What are you doing, dude?" And he's like, "I just got off work." I'm like, "I don't care. Like, it's muzzleloader season. You don't have your orange on." I thought a deer was walking up on me because he walked up on a deer trail, like to my left. So I like turned real quick with my gun because it was like the last day of the season. I was going to shoot it out, and then boom, there's a guy there, and I almost pointed my gun at him. I'm like, dude, you can't do that. You're going to get hurt, and you're going to cause problems. So I can actually live with, if I'm on public land, I can live with being anywhere and have a family walk by, just like hiking through the woods. I can live with that because it's everybody's recreating differently. But hunters should have a higher level of sense when it comes to like what the etiquette is to that public land when it comes to probably other people hunting. And I just I'm not used to that. And yeah, a lot of guys, I'll put it like this: a lot of guys that are hunting in public have one of two things. Either they are probably don't have family, they don't have the income to own property, or they don't, or their friends or family don't own property. So they're probably in the lower income area. So they probably, which I think leads to other conversations on, they're probably not thinking about what other people are doing. Probably trying to think. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Yep.
Right. Or second, you're a transplant like me.
Yep.
Okay. Like I'm not from here, so I don't my family doesn't live here, doesn't have property. And my friends, you really at this age, they don't, the ones that I make here don't own property, except for, one guy that his mom owns, and that's where I'm at now. But it's just people don't think.
It's just respect. Just be respectful.
It's respect, right? Like I'm not, if I pull up somewhere late, because I work till 4, and the places that I go work at 4 is either in the lottery zone because I know where I can go and I'm not going to bust anybody, or I have a couple areas to where if I were to pull up and there would be multiple vehicles there, I'm not going in.
Well, and sometimes I wonder. Okay, I'm going to pick on 2 of our team members here, 3 actually. So, I also think sometimes on public land you get newbies who are, interested in the hunting, don't have somebody go with them. So, Jesse and Ryan, this has been years now, so I can tell this story. They've told it on the podcast before. When they first got into hunting, number one, Ryan went and hunted firearm season at a state park up by Chicago. Spoke with the game warden and everything. Had a 30-06 with him the whole time. Had no idea that he was illegal. Jesse, when he heard about that, Jesse actually told him, like, you can't have that. What are you talking about? I had to show him the law. And then Jesse and Ron, I know they have another story on public land, kind of being jackasses, to be honest. And then when it comes to like property respect, Nate has every now and then said something to me or asked something, just make a statement. I'm like, no, you don't do that. And he just really has no idea what he means. What do you mean you don't do that? I'm like, yeah, I'll just explain etiquette, and like, you, for example, Nate, in the situation I'm talking about, he tried to invite himself on a permission piece of property that me and a couple other cops have. And I told him, like, hey, man, like, I know you don't mean it this way, but you just don't do that.
No.
Yeah, and I kind of explained that as much as I could, and he kind of understood, but he kind of doesn't at the same time. So like and he wanted to jump because what he was going to do, and I'm happy he said something to me, he was going to leapfrog over us and go straight to the guy. And I'm like, no, like that's even worse, man. Like if us as a group went to the guy and said something, that's one thing, but like you just jumping all over our heads, like that's just like that's
how you lose permission right there.
Yeah, and he didn't he didn't know that. He was brand new to hunting, and he still is, and he just didn't know that.
So that I'll say this, that I can live with because he doesn't know the etiquette, or wasn't really thinking about it. I can live with that. Now, and I would tell Ryan this. That I can't live with somebody doing that, because this goes back to my work. I would even say when people come and visit our property, there's a certain set of rules and regulations. It is not up to me to make sure that you know those. Ignorance is not an excuse. That's how I look at it.
I agree. I mean, you're speaking. I have to use the same spiel for law enforcement.
Right, same thing. So like, if I personally am going to visit any property, and this doesn't have to do with just hunting, hiking, camping, whatever, I am doing my due diligence to make sure, like, hey, I don't want to get in trouble doing. If I think I'm doing something that might be kind of on that line, I'm gonna look it up. I want to know exactly what it is. I am not paying a ticket. I am not getting in trouble. I'm not messing with that. I'm gonna go have a good time, be within the rules, be on my merry way. So, the ignorant, like not knowing that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like I said, that was 7-8 years ago now. And
no, I know that. But that happens with new hunters, and I will say that probably is a much, like, if you're hunting public, you're gonna run into those people all the time. Okay, and I've seen it. Like, I've only listed a couple stories, but like I had people walk in on me last year, like muzzleloader hunting, and they're just like walking through the woods with the gun. It's October 14th here. You can't see in the woods. Yeah. So if I'm trying to hunt a deer and I'm walking through the woods, you're going to see one deer 70 yards away with the tail up running away from me. I'm not going to shoot at that. But some of these people, you see them, you're like, oh, they probably would shoot at that. They're not going to hit it, but they're going to shoot.
This might ruffle up some feathers here, but again, these type of people probably don't listen to this podcast, being the Thin Blue Line Outdoors. I can't even tell you how many times I've been on domestics, standbys, or something like that, and I see some deer hunting stuff, and me and the person will be BSing. Like, oh, you deer hunt? Oh, number one, they always hunt public land or trespass, one of the two. Right. And they can bow hunt because they're felons. They can't gun hunt.
Can't have a gun.
So there's a lot of the less desirables. I'm just going to say less desirable people out there on public land sometimes. And
it's just the truth.
If that offends anybody, it's the truth. So I don't care.
It is the truth. And you know what? And I'll say this, like, I'm not going to knock on the public land is there to be used, but it is on us to respect it and to use it properly. Okay. But I will say, so I guess I did say, I don't think I told you this. I went and hunted this huge piece of when I say huge piece of public, it's a really big piece of public. There's only 2 entries. It's like 700 some acres. It's on this river, and I get there at it's like 3 o'clock. I left at work a little early. I get there at 3. One other car there, and I'm like, oh, that's fine. Like, it's so big. There's only 2 entrances. anybody that I might run into is going to be within that first couple 100 yards. The areas I had scouted were 800 yards away was the closest one that I liked, and then it was a mile and a mile and a half. So I'm back there, and the reason why I scouted because that's where I'm going to go gun hunt at. Like the odds of me running into people low, unless they're really fit, they're not going to go that far. Because if you kill a deer, God forbid you kill a deer a mile and a half back there, and it's not, and there's snow on the ground, you're kind of screwed. You can't drive a 4-wheeler on there, no bike, no nothing. You're dragging it out. So I walk. There's one other car there. He has got a climber in his back seat. It's like a gold Buick that is like probably like a 2004, 2005. I'm like, okay, this guy's like somewhere up here, real close. I walk 800 yards back there to my spot, and I see my tree that I want to get into, and right at the base of it is this guy sitting down with a red backpack, and I just kind of like, oh. It's perfect wind spot. It was great. And
he probably looked him. He probably you didn't have a stand?
No, I have my saddle stuff.
Okay.
Now he's not deer hunting. What do you think he's doing?
In October, not deer hunting.
October, mind you, the second week of October.
So is he looking for ginseng or mushroom?
Nope. He is trying to shoot squirrels with his bow.
Because he can't have a gun?
I don't know. I have no idea. But he's trying to shoot squirrels with, and
my guess.
and I talked to him for like 10 minutes. Nice guy, super weird. But I talked to him for like 10 minutes, and he like proceeds to tell me he's been there for 3 hours, and he's walked through this whole southern part of the unit scouting. I'm like, this is great. So I walked to my mile, it's like 1.2 miles back there. But by the time I get there, because I checked out, I kind of scouted a few areas and got to where I wanted to go. I'd walked like 3 miles at that point, and then finally got into a tree at like kind of late, like 4:30, I would say.
Yeah.
And I could have killed like a little buck that day at a doe, and I chose not to because I wasn't going to drag it out, at the buck spot. But yeah, it's just like perfect example, and I wasn't even that mad. I see that was the situation. I wasn't mad. Like it was like, oh, that sucked because that's the spot I wanted to go. But he was out there before me. He was doing his thing. He had a mission and he was doing it, so I could live with it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got you. Well, we can get off the etiquette a little bit now. We both got our rants out of the way.
The etiquette part gets me as fired up as some of these gentlemen that are on this team or people in general that are shooting crossbows and are able-bodied. If you can't shoot a bow, and you can show them that, you can't shoot a bow, and you don't have hurt shoulders, then you should put that bow away and wait till gun season.
Do you know Don Higgins at all?
No.
So anybody who's listening to this, and I'm gonna definitely clip this part about crossbow hunting because it's hilarious. Because I agree with you. Don Higgins is a Illinois hunter, kills big bucks. He just killed I think a 200-incher early October. Just big buck killer. He did a podcast and he said this is going to ruffle some feathers, but he compared crossbow hunters who are able-bodied to men playing women's sports.
Yeah. Let me put it like this. Yeah. I taught Paige how to bow hunt, how to shoot a bow in July. Okay, shooting a bow that was too long for her. Okay, and then I just bought her a new bow in early September. I think is when she finally started shooting a bow at her size, and she killed a deer last week. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like it. You can do it. And she's never hunted before. You know what I mean? And it just took practice, and it just took time. Okay?
Correct.
Practice
and what I don't like is a lot of the people who go to crossbow hunt because it's easier, then they don't practice, and it seems to be having about the same issues usually. Maybe less often, and maybe
is there somebody who's across with that injured a deer today?
Yeah, yesterday. Yeah, yep. Ryan, I'll call you out, Ryan, because
come on, Ryan.
We're gonna have.
You gotta be better than that, Ryan.
We're gonna have this crossbow and bow debate at some point in time.
So, hey, at least it beats somebody shooting a deer in the head, though.
Oh yeah, true. So that is true. I was like, that happened this year? No, that's a few years old story, but yeah. Now I will give as much crap talk as Colton and I are doing. I give 2 members of our team. I'll give them credit.
I'll give
Number
one
one,
credit.
Steve, because his hands, he can't pull back a
That's
bow right now.
totally fine.
So he's
Totally
got
fine.
arthritis. He's got bad arthritis. He's even tried. He
Oh,
can't.
yeah, he's got a reason.
I'll give Cody credit this year. Grab it, because he injured his shoulder back in late summer, and he can't pull his bow back at the poundage that he had
Okay.
it at. And so now next year, I'm gonna say no. You got to go back to a big boy bow.
Page double lung to doe at
Mhm.
18 yards, shooting 35 pounds.
Mhm. No, I'm not saying he couldn't. I'm not saying he couldn't go to it, but
Then
I'll
I
still
don't
give
give
him
him
credit.
pass. Then I don't give somebody a pass. Then
I'll give him pass for the year.
I give Kyle a pass last year or whatever it was, a year ago, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
You got hurt.
Yeah, because he tore his labor,
Yeah.
whatever. Yep. But now Kyle's on a roll.
Yeah,
Kyle's
but he's practiced
mhm.
and he spent time and he can
Yep.
choose boat now. So like
Correct.
he put in the one thing, time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But if you're unwilling to do that,
Correct.
wait till gun season.
Kyle's turned into quite a bow hunter. Yeah, he hasn't killed anything big yet by any means, but
That's fine. Yeah.
He's killing a bunch of does. He's killed some young
Mhm.
bucks. So the buck, I'm sure he'll be on the podcast to talk about this. But if you guys are fans of the podcast and have listened to this podcast before, Kyle told his story earlier this year about his shitty buck, is what we call it. Is his buck walked up on him while he was taking a shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That buck has returned. I'm not going to show pictures of it right now. Colton, I'll send you pictures after this. Giant. Absolutely.
I think I've seen it.
I think he shared it to the group.
Yeah, send it to me. That's funny that it's that one.
Yeah, he knows because of the figuration of the antlers. He's like 100% that's the same buck. And he was decent last year. He was 130, 140 last year. He's definitely over 150 now. I wouldn't even be surprised if he's the 160, 170 range.
Okay.
So I'm hoping. He asked me what a strategy should be. Like go down in the woods, turn your camera on, put your pants down by your ankle, get ready with your bow. He'll come right in.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, we've went off the path a little bit. Your second doe. So I know you. Yeah, just how to go.
Yeah.
Down.
So going back to the public land thing, somebody had. I think somebody messed with my stand, and because I'm in a not a popular area because nobody else ever hunted it last year, but I'm in a. I put straps up to where people would see it. So like I have like an orange strap and like a neon green strap. So I want people to see it if they were to get close. You're not going to see it unless you get close to hang on stand on the back side because I saddle hunt out of it. But you would see it if you were walking it from that direction. You put these little tags on there, and so I'm getting calls like on Monday after I got married I got married, and they were saying my tag wasn't on there, and like thankfully my coworkers were like, "Well, that's Colton's stand," Somebody, I'm almost positive somebody removed it. So, anyways, I go out there. I think like Wednesday, and it was hot. Like it was like 75 degrees, like 70. It might have been like 78 degrees. And I went out there the last 2 hours of there. I'm wearing work pants, and I'm wearing my tacos. I'm like, I'm not gonna, I'm already out here. I'm gonna sit. There was this nice buck running around. I'm like, he's not gonna come out, but who knows? So I get up in the tree, and then like, 30 minutes left the light. I'm like, here comes 2 does. Well, 3. It was actually ended up being 3. I didn't see the other one, but 3 does come out. I'm like, are you kidding me? Because it's so hot out. You gotta shoot them, clean them, and get them back. You gotta do everything at once. So like, and pretty much, I did that for all 3 deer, even pages. Like cleaned them, got in the back of the vehicle. I stopped the gas station, put ice in their cavity, and then drove home because I'm like 30 minutes away. But 2 deer come out. I even like thought to myself, I don't know if I really want to do this. I was like, okay, well, and then she stood there, and then she stood there, and I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. Shot her then. She was like 20, I think it was like 24 yards. And I knew it was a good shot, I like watched it, go right into her, and then she took off running. But same thing, I got out, got to the where I hit her at. Couldn't find my arrow. Couldn't find blood. Couldn't find nothing. And I was like,
Do you have lighted knocks on at all?
I don't, but I need to get them.
Bro,
Yeah, so like I
Yeah.
on my arrows, I have like reflective arrow wraps.
Yeah.
So it gets dark
You
at this
shoot-
point. I
You
found
shooting
some
the
blood.
day 6? What are you shooting?
What?
Are you shooting the day 6 like I am, or what are you shooting?
No,
No.
I'm shooting vape TKOs.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So then I like track some blood. It gets dark. Get my headlight out, and I actually was like, you know what? I'm gonna calm down for a second. It's like 15 minutes. And I kind of look and I find my first arrow because I couldn't find it still. I found that one, and then because the reflective, I saw the reflective, and then because where I'm at, there's some tall grass was buried in there a little bit, and then I found the second arrow, and I could tell there's like some blood on it. I was like, oh, that looks good. So then I just kind of like started walking the area that she walked to, and I'm not finding any blood, like a couple drops here and there. Not good. And then all of a sudden I see like a couple more drops and then just stops. And I'm like only like 50 yards away. I said, you know what? I'm gonna go take all my stuff, put it at the road up here, and then walk down. There's this like concrete path that is like 100 yards away, 80 yards, somewhere in there. And I'm like, I'm just gonna go down that path and see if she crossed right there to go the other that direction, east. So I start walking down, and then I'm looking at the concrete path, and then there's just blood everywhere. I'm like, oh, I turn, and then she's right there next to the path. Dead.
That's nice of her.
I was like, oh, well, there we go.
Yeah.
And I like start backtracking her blood a little bit, and then like right before that path, like 20 yards, 20 yards or so, there's blood everywhere. So it just like took a second, and I could double lunger. That's what I shoot for. I shoot for double lungs all day
As you
long.
should. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't mess around with the heart shot. I try to shoot right above the heart an inch. So if she tries to dip it, I'm still gonna get above. Hasn't failed me yet. So yeah, it was another nice doe. The first one was bigger, but this one was probably a couple years old. Yeah, got her back, got her all cleaned up. It's a long night. Get done at like 11 p.m. I would say. Once I get her at least cubed up and then put in the fridge or freezer, depending on if I was gonna grind them or not that night or the next day.
Yep. Yeah. So 2 Popo Clan does down, and not that I'm not impressed with you, because I guess I've come to assume this performance of you. What I'm more impressed with is what happens next. Is, as just you said, you took a brand new hunter, not even gun hunter turned bow hunter. You took a brand new hunter, and you got her completely ready with her own bow and all that stuff in a limited time. And it's not like you guys kind of had some stuff going on, had a wedding to plan for. So it wasn't like you just were sitting on your butts doing nothing. And yeah, you were able to put her on some deer. Now, before we get too far into it, her first shot was it all the same tree stand? All the same tree?
Same tree.
Mm-hmm.
And it hunted all of that tree's like great, like northwest wind is like the best. But I would say like we really only shot for like a month and a half with her bow, the bow she ended up using. And she's shooting it's a bear ready to hunt bow, like pretty much like what we started with, but it's just a little more advanced, I would say. It's kind of smaller. Because I was like reading reviews, better for women. This version was, but it's a lot like ours. Goes up to 70 pounds, goes all the way down to 30. She's shooting 35, but she could go up to 40. She's pretty strong. So
that's the thing. I don't know if you guys are still doing the CrossFit stuff, whatever, but I know that for a while.
She's strong. So she can go up to 40, and honestly, just the more she shoots, those muscles just get a little stronger. She could probably end up going up to like 45. With some practice, but just been shooting 20 yards and in, and she's been great with like her left arm, her arms and her upper body have been great. Just her form, and like I would say like when it comes to shooting bow, like I'm a good shot. Like I know I am. I practice a lot. I have good form, really consistent, and I feel like just like muscle memory. I have good muscle memory. When I'm watching her arms, really her shoulders, make sure everything's in line. And she was shooting really good, but every once in a while she'd have an arrow just kind of like, go off the beaten path. She'd shoot 4. I'd always have her shoot 4, not 3. And she would shoot 3 great ones, and then like this one would be high left or like high right, or just kind of like really weird. And I'd be watching her. She's not flinching at the beginning, and she got rid of that. She got rid of a few little habits. I was like, man, I don't know what's going on. So then the So a couple days before her shooting, I had her go shoot her on a lunch break. She sent me photos, and she was shooting great. Okay, we'll go out. And then 2 does come in. The first day we go, we had 2 does come in. It gets to like 15 yards, 20 yards. Like I think it was like 17 yards. Broadside, quartering away, and she's like, we're hunting in the same tree. I'm just above her in the saddle. I range it. I tell her, and she takes her time, and I start filming, but you can't really see that shot at all because it's in the woods with the light. But I'm watching it, and then she shoots, and it's like left like a foot, like in front of the deer. And I'm like, that was weird, And I kind of originally just chalked it up to like jitters a little bit, but even her, she was like, I don't know what happened, And I just found that arrow this last week, by the way. I went and looked, I couldn't find it. Like, man, we have too many broadheads out here right now. So then she shoots, and I said to we don't see any more deer the rest of the night, and I said to myself, like, okay, I'm gonna give her like 2 days, and then we're gonna shoot again, and we'll see what happens. So we go out to shoot in the backyard, and we go to 10 yards, and she's like, do I really need to shoot 10? Because she, shoots like, you put your hand around it. And I'm like, yep, let's shoot 10 yards. We'll work our way back. First shot at 10 yards, she missed a foot to the left. And we both like look at each other, like, that was weird. And she's like, is something wrong with the sight? I'm like, I don't think so, but like, let's shoot it again. I'm gonna watch you again. And then she shoots it perfect. Like, I put these little X's on the target, and she hits it. I'm like, and then she shoots 2 more. Like, same thing. I'm like, okay, let's back up 5 yards. And then she says, like, you know what I think might be the issue? And I'm like, I don't know. She's like, I'm hitting my breast. And I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, I feel like sometimes I'm like resting on them too much. And I was like, oh, well, I'm like, here, I want you to don't fix anything and pull back. Do the same thing. She pulls back, and lo and behold, her left boob is pushing up against the string hard. And I'm like, and she's, a heavy chested woman.
Right-handed, right?
Right-handed. So
her
against it, and it's torquing it then to the left.
Yep.
So
I was just thinking. I'm pretending I have a test.
right. So that string's getting pushed up against, and then and torquing it left. So I was like, oh, that must be the issue. So then, after talking about it, she just has to kind of like rotate her shoulders out a little bit, and then it clears everything. So she almost has to take her left shoulder if you were to pull back and just rotate forward a little bit. You kind of feel like you're overextended, but you're really not. Your arm doesn't move. It's just like your shoulder and your upper body. So she started doing that, and guess what? Haven't had a problem since. So 10, 15, 20 yards, she can kill deer 20 and in all day. And that's what happened. So, we worked on it, fixed it. Then we went out. Then the second time, and these 2 yearlings came out, and they're right in front of us. And I think her shot, it was like 14 yards. And like, kind of quartering to us, actually. It was quartering away. We've talked about it a lot. She, like, in the moment, kind of confused it. It was quartering away at like 15. I thought she was going to shoot. Oh my gosh, please shoot. And then she wasn't. And I looked down, and she had actually like put her draw. She was draw back, and then she went back down, and she like made the motion. I'm like, no, that's good. And it kind of turned a quarter to us, but she shot back just a little bit, and then double and hit one lung, and then the deer ran. I'm like, that was a good shot, and I do have that all on film, so eventually you'll get that. And then once we found that deer, there was an exit wound, which I really don't understand still, because you could see the arrow out of it when it ran. There was an exit wound, and then I've yet to find the arrow. Can't find it. So what I think happened is that the path that the deer took, it like the arrow got caught, and it went in, jammed out, and it got caught and then flung out somewhere. So on this trail, not trail, but like the woodland edge that the deer went on. But anyways, deer died like 60 yards away. That 35 pounds with the FX4, right?
Yep.
Yeah, tore that deer up. Yep. There was more blood. There was more blood. See, and this is why my theory on how fast I'm shooting. There was more blood in this deer than both of my deer, and I had a huge exit and entry hole in mine because I think my arrows just zipping. But she's super excited.
Might be
super excited, and I found the deer before she did, and I just working the new camera, had it recording, but it switched over to the photo thing. So I took a couple photos of her.
Yeah.
Anyways, got her,
Yeah.
recorded her, did a little after interview. She gutted the deer by herself. Did a good job with that. Yeah. She needs a little practice, but she was able to gut it herself. And we've already cooked the back strap, and it was great. So,
yeah. How you have came such a long way from gutting deer compared to
I used to hate it. The blood freaked me out, and now how I look at it, the faster you do it, the more efficient, faster you do it, the less you have to worry about it. So now I can like gut deer in 30 seconds.
Yeah, it really doesn't take long.
No, it's so fast.
Yeah.
If you know what you're doing, fast. But no, I've actually what I've realized, my probably favorite thing to do, like I love hunting, I love doing that, but taking new people hunting and like helping them out. So I've done that with a couple buddies now. I have another buddy that I'm hunting on his mom's property right now. I'm taking him out gun hunting here. Gonna teach him how to do it. And I know he's the kind of guy, he's gonna love it. And he's gonna get into it. And then there's a guy here that I'm friends with too that goes to the same gym. We're gonna be hunting together soon a few times, and like just gonna help him out. He's a good shot. If he kills a deer, just like teach him how to gut one, and how to track it and all that good stuff. But looking forward to that.
Good. I mean, that's kind of why we started this channel anyway. We want to get other people into it. So now, one thing I want to say, if people didn't catch that, so I used to have this backwards when I was first getting my wife into hunting, which she kind of, the kids, she kind of stopped. But when you are getting somebody into hunting and they're not pulling back a lot of weight, you actually don't want to go with a mechanical. Don't go with a mechanical. Get a cut on contact broadhead like the FX4. Obviously, we're sponsored by Rec. We like what Rec has done for broadhead wise. We have killed 2 animals that I'm aware of with the FX4. Colton's bear, and then now Paige's deer.
They both die very fast, so
yeah, you can go watch the bear videos on right now. The bear runs 20 yards and dies right there at the tree. So so check that out. But yeah, no, you've had a great season so far. And the best thing is, as we record this, it's only October 29th. So we're not even to the best dates yet. So
and you know what? And we didn't even talk about it. I killed my first 2 pheasants this week too. So.
Oh yeah. Did you get invited on that? And I mean, I didn't know you were doing that at all. So that looked cool.
Yeah, it was a friend I actually met in Clinton, Iowa. A guy at our gym, and he does a lot. He's a bird hunter. He as he said multiple times during the bird hunting is fuck those deer, because he's not about deer hunting at all. He's a pheasant hunter, a turkey hunter, and a waterfowl hunter. That's what he does in that order. He runs actually. I think they're called Fallen Outdoors.
Oh, yep. I've met some of those guys. I met the Illinois guys.
Yeah, so with them, he takes vets out to hunt, and he'll usually take a few buddies and kind of coordinates getting dogs and stuff together. So, yeah, he knew it was kind of over this direction. He knew I was over here, so just reached out. I haven't seen him in a year and a half. So just reached out. We had 7 of us guys, 3 different dogs out there. I killed 2 pheasants the first 15 minutes. And the limit's 3. I never did get a third. I should have gotten a third if I was positioned. I was 3 shots, 2 pheasants down pretty quick. And then I think I shot 7 times, and my other 4 shots were like
long
people who had missed, and then I'm like, okay, let me try to lead this baby. But a lot of people miss it, but
Now those pheasants you were hunting, were they truly wild pheasants?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We're on public property. It was opening day. We killed 11 that day, so we were on pace we thought we were gonna, man, we killed 7 pheasants in the first 30 minutes. But we thought we were gonna limit out, but we didn't. But yeah, we had a great time. No, I actually have them downstairs in the fridge right now. I gotta clean them still. So I'm doing that after this. Was actually the plan.
Now I just saw the one picture of them. Didn't think about getting one mounted or anything, huh?
So I peppered both of them pretty good.
Did you?
So,
okay.
Yeah. The first, the one's head's just, I clobbered it, and then the second one, like I also, like, I didn't straight up hit the second one in the head, but it's like right at the neck and then down. the back of it's beautiful. You know, they're
Yeah.
but it makes me want to go again and try to get one that I could like.
Yeah, I've always thought if I shot a real pretty wild cock pheasant, I would get a.
Oh yeah, they're
Mhm.
beautiful. And like
Yeah.
we killed a lot that were really pretty birds that day. It's just one of those things for me that if I lived somewhere to where like that was a huge thing and I didn't have I'm a big game hunter. So
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
I like meat. So I get 2 breaths off of a
Mhm.
pheasant, that's it.
Mhm.
It doesn't get me as juiced up.
Yeah, we'll end this podcast here in a second, but that kind of, our dad, real big waterfowl hunter. I would say that's definitely his number one thing to
Yeah.
do. And he sent me beginning of this week. He sent me like 3 to 4 days. Like, can you go duck hunting these days? I'm gonna go duck hunting with him in the morning because it's not supposed to be good deer hunting weather. So I'll go with him.
Right.
He goes, what about Friday morning? I'm like, no. Or like, it's
No.
gonna be cold front, high pressure
No.
system. Like, Dad, the deer are gonna be moving. He goes, well, probably the ducks too. I'm like, yeah, but the deer are gonna be moving. Like,
Deer and you have enough big like nice ones on camera.
yeah.
And the other thing I haven't heard you mention either is that the moon is going to be right for deer on Thursday and Friday.
It is. I know they've been
All-
saying all summer long, and so they're like end of October going into November. The
Mhm.
moon's right. So.
Oh yeah, I'm Thursday all day, and then Friday morning I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
I have one thing to shout out that's going on this weekend too. That you'll see photos of it if you follow our work page. But
Yep.
we're hosting a veterans hunt this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like I won't be able to hunt Friday evening,
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, and Sunday, because we'll have like 9 veterans come out. It's with the Iowa Veterans Outdoor Experience. They're going to come out. They take these veterans from all over the country to get special tags to their DNR. They go and they sit with other veterans. So like there's 2 veterans that are always paired up together hunting different areas. And we have some like last year we had some nice ones on camera. Nothing crazy. A few nice bucks running around. We have some big deer running around here. So
And the weather's gonna be right. So.
Oh, but on Friday it's actually supposed to rain Saturday afternoon and Sunday. So they really only have like a day and a half of good. But if it was me, I hope they still go out because we've had like I'm talking this week, we probably have 2 deer in like the 160 class running around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like big deer, and then they grow them a little different around here. I feel like, but there's a good handful of like 140s. That's a couple smaller ones that are running around. It's like, oh man,
do you get to help with that? I mean, I know you're not taking them hunting.
Yeah,
but
so
like, you helping with that?
Yeah, what I'll do. Yeah, so I help run all the special events here. So what I'll do is I'll be there. I'll help track deer. I'll help clean some deer if they need it. I would say mostly myself and a couple other the stronger bodied folk here will help track deer and pull deer out. And then we just kind of like historically they've had some issues with the public.
Yeah.
So
you're telling me you're getting paid to track and drag deer. Oh, that's just a terrible job.
It's awful. So we just make sure nothing goes wrong. If there's anything, help regulate just like any public interactions, make sure areas are closed. They can't enter these areas. But I mean, we have signage and stuff up, but that's awesome.
No, that's awesome. So when this podcast comes out, that event will be over because it's coming up the Wednesday afterwards. But I'm pretty sure the Thin Blue Outdoors is following your work page. If not, I will make sure it is. I know I am on my personal page, but and then any pictures and stuff you guys will share. We'll share it on the page too and all that good stuff. So hopefully, if you listen to this podcast, go back to the page posting. Hopefully, you saw me share some success they had this weekend, and hopefully, Colton and myself have some success with these cool fronts.
That would be great. I would appreciate that.
Yep. Colton, just stay on the line when I end this. But anything else before we get off of this?
No. Just I guess the 2 takeaways is don't go in public late. Think about your surroundings, and if you're somebody that can shoot a bow, shoot a freaking bow. Talking to some of these team neighbors and other people. If you can shoot a bow, shoot a bow.
I can't end it any better. Make sure you like and subscribe, guys. We had a great October. It'll be November by the time you listen to this. If our November is better than our October, that's going to be nuts. So other than that, peace, guys. Make sure you like and subscribe. Bye.